And I want to follow up on our conversation with Trip Eisenhower about the Masters. I first went to the Masters in the late 1970s, and I've had moments in my life going to Notre Dame in Paris was not being Catholic, but going there was such an awe about it. Going to Yankee Stadium in the 70s for a World Series and standing in there and looking around and thinking about Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and my idol in baseball, Mickey Mantle, and the players who had played there. And so people who are not into golf sort of wonder about what is so special about Augusta National. There's an aura that you find in places that you go. If you go to Big Ben in London, you go to Notre Dame in Paris, you go to the Colosseum in Rome, and you go, that is our history. The U.S. Open is played on a different course every year. The PGA, the British Open, the World Series is played in different stadiums. Last year in Kansas City, for instance, in a place that hasn't been built that long in San Francisco. The Super Bowl moves around the country. There's only one major sports event outside of racing that really hosts a major event every year. And as I mentioned, Jim Nance, my friend, calls it a tradition like no other, and it is. It's a good tradition and it's a bad tradition. That's started as a nursery, as I was explaining to Benjamin, but it's a plantation house from around the Civil War. And when you go there, you have memories, not of actually being there in the Civil War, but of memories of what the Civil War was like in the South and for those people that were in your family that fought in it. And Augusta National has so many different auras about it. The course they play every year in the springtime, the flowers are blooming, the best golfers in the world are there, the most drama on Sunday on the back nine, and then there's that plantation house that with the veranda where I used to love to sit with Nan Jenkins, who's like Rich Clarkson, has covered something on the order of 150 major golf tournaments and the Masters since the 1950s when Ben Hogan was ruling there. I find, and people ask me all the time about what's my favorite sport or what's my favorite sports event. I love going to the Olympics of exploring new lands that, like Norway, where I would never go, going to Australia for the first time, being in Japan. But Augusta, when people ask me, is a place that I always love to return to more than 30 times in my life because it just sort of reminds me of the Old South, and people can question the Old South. That's why I said there are good aspects and bad aspects in the way that the members treat women, in terms of being members. Now, Condoleezza Rice, an African-American woman who spent a lot of her years in Denver, is a member there and played with Bubba Watson this week. Tiger Woods, a man of color, winning at Augusta in 1997. And my memories of standing on the veranda on the second floor and with all of the African-American employees there who were busboys and waiters and waitresses and had been bagmen and on the bag, loopers they call it in golf, and watching the expressions on their face because they had been not slaves, but they were employees who were kind of dressed down and talked down to for years. And here was a young African-American whose mother was Thai, who won and walked up the 18th hole. And I've never seen so many people share that victory because Tiger Woods not only was the champion, but he was now a member of Augusta National, which you get for being a champion. Those are the memories that I have. Rich Clarkson was talking about memories of the first Super Bowl and memories of Final Fours. The Augusta National is a tradition like no other. The pimento cheese sandwiches are still $4. They're not $18. You can get a beer for $1.75. You can go in and get an Augusta National shirt and wear it proudly, or you may not care anything about golf, but the only place they sell it. Not online, not anywhere else. It's right there on the course. It's something special. It's difficult. Of all the things in sports, it's the most difficult to get a ticket to. Super Bowl, you can get tickets outside. It's very difficult to get in, but if you can ever get a chance to go down to Augusta, you can go to the practice rounds and you can buy tickets. You can go to the par 3 contest. You can walk around the course as I did in '78 and go, I get it. I get it. Augusta National is a special place with a lot of special memories for a lot of golfers and a lot of people like me. I'm Woody Paige, and that's my opinion. That's brought to you by Shanahan Steakhouse. It's been selected by the public as one of Denver's best restaurants and one of the best restaurants in the entire country. It's Open Tables 2015 Diner's Choice winner. There's a reason why. I was there last night. I had the crab cake. I had the bread and butter.
I never get an invite.
Okay, we'll go after the show.
Just saying.
So book a reservation today. My friend that was with me, John, had a piece of fish that would just literally melt in your mouth. And it's a fantastic place. If you have not tried it, or it's been a while since you've been there, go to shanahansteakhouse.com and you'll have an experience like no other.
That was beautiful.